We're coming to you from the MKA Institute, an independent African-American think tank where we discuss all issues relevant to the African world, whether in the Americas, the Caribbean, Africa, Europe, or Asia. And today we're interested in a story that just made the news in Philadelphia. And that story has to do with Temple University and the apparent racism that is in progress at that university regarding a number of faculty members, including myself. Our aim today is to throw some light on this issue because this issue plagues a part of the African American and African community that we don't usually consider, because most of our concentration is not on those who are in professional careers. So if you see videos about African Americans or about racism, normally you're talking about people who are engaged in the community with the police, or people who are having difficult times with housing and poverty and so forth. But what people forget is that the American society is a unitary society in the sense that the fundamental ideals that drive the society are ideals that we find almost in every sector. And I just want to say that I'm very happy today to have Dr. Aaron Smith and Dr. Nadav join with me in this conversation. And this is a conversation actually that needs to happen for the Molefi Asante Institute subscribers. And our subscribers, as some of you know, are all over the world, and we have hundreds of them. And we ask you to spread this information as far and as wide as you would like to. I want to start off if Dr. Jabali, Dr. Aaron Smith, and Dr. Dove would permit me to sort of give a general overview of what we're facing at Temple University, and then they will certainly be able and willing, I'm sure, to add comments to what I have to say. Let me just say that the Department of Africology, and which is the name of the discipline for us, and African American Studies started in the late 60s by a group of very courageous students at Temple University. They were all undergraduate students. And they fought and got this program started. And then in the 1980s, I came to Temple, and my name is Molefi Asante, for those of you who do not know. I came to Temple, and we started actually a program to create a master's and a PhD in African American Studies. Initially, it was a master's, but when they rejected the master's proposal, I decided I would just go for the master's and the PhD. But at any rate, it was done, and it was approved and by the Board of Trustees at that time, and it was considered the first. It is the first PhD program in the United States of America in African American Studies, and it's the only one that still maintains the notion of discipline. There are many other programs now. There are about 16 or 17 other programs, but almost all of them, or at least many of them, have what I call dual discipline projects. That is, you have to take, if you go to Harvard, for example, you want to get a PhD in African American Studies, you also have to take English, or you have to take sociology or political science or religion and that kind of thing. So, and there are many people who follow that model. We didn't follow that model because our idea was that that what we were studying was not just the facts, but it was how we studied African people and the African world. So we created a discipline, and that was the big thing. Now, at the present time, we have 9 faculty members, and 4 of them are males and 5 of them are females. And I was chair when everybody was hired. In fact, outside myself, I hired everybody in the department. So my term as chair ended 2 years ago.
Doc, make sure you let the people in the waiting room, or you can make me a host, and I'll make sure I'm.
Oh, okay. Okay, I didn't even know I thought we were the only ones here.
No,
Okay.
no, people waiting, but I can do that for you if you want to make me a host or co-host.
Okay, okay. Let me see. Yeah, let me make you a host. And yeah, wow, we have okay. So okay, we got a lot of people here. Okay. All right, okay, just 1 minute. Let me see here. Okay, okay. All right, so I think everybody is in, but I'm gonna see if I can make you a host in that way. Um,
You're welcome,
uh,
everybody, for just joining. Thank you for showing up.
thank you very much. This is very, very, very wonderful. So we're just talking now. We're just talking now. No, I'm sorry. Let me just one right here. Um, I want to. I'm just taking my time right now because I want to make a host here. So here it is. I think so. Make a host. You are okay, Aaron Smith. Make a host. I'm sorry.
Anybody have the link to the article? You might want to share that in the chat while Dr. Asante transfers the opportunity to allow people in the room. If somebody else can do that, that'd be
if somebody has
a link to the article.
the article. Yeah, because part of what we're talking about is this article that we are referring to from the Philadelphia Tribune, which is, of course, the major African American newspaper in the city, and in many ways it is the oldest African American newspaper in the country. So I think I think the host has been changed. So you are now the host,
Yep,
Dr.
no problem. Keep going, Doc.
So thank you very much. So at any rate, so as I was saying, we're 9 faculty members, and we are 5 females and 4 males. And over the last few years, 8, 9 years, we have requested from the university positions, lines. And when we did not get them, each year we asked the current dean of the College of Liberal Arts, who is Deeg. At some point, we were frustrated because we know that there are scores of students who would like to take our courses, but we are not able to offer a variety of courses that need to be offered. So um, when he denied us the opportunity to hire faculty members, after the death of George Floyd, I wrote the university a very strong letter to the president, and it was circulated widely that Temple needed to respond like other corporations and institutions had responded to the murder, which was an indication of racism and white supremacy in the American society. Temple's president at the time was Richard Engler, and he responded admirably because he responded to saying that the department could have the 4 positions that I had asked for, and that the university would also participate in helping to create the Center for Anti-Racism. And in addition to that, it would reach out to the local North Philadelphia community and offer more opportunities for students in the North Philadelphia area to attend Temple. So this was a good move. But the move was not appreciated by the dean of the College of Liberal Arts. In fact, the dean of the College of Liberal Arts accused me of insubordination by going directly to the president for this. But I've always felt that in my position as a university professor, I was not on a plantation. I picked cotton. I know what it is to pick cotton and to work on plantations and work on farms and to have some ignorant white person assume that they know more than you just because they have a position. And because that happened to me in Georgia when I was growing up. But this guy assumed that somehow, I should not be asking anybody other than him when he had denied 5 or 6 or 7 times our request for additional hires. So the president was generous in that sense. And this happened right after, of course, I had charged Deeg with insensitivity to the racial stereotypes that had been drawn on the wall of the Anderson Hall, that's now the Mazur Hall. I had charged him with, insensitivity to the African American students who would come out of their classes and would see these negative images. So I wrote him up on that as well. He then objected, wrote me letters trying to explain it and trying to teach me my history, about what the evolution has been and all that kind of stuff. So I was, of course, very defiant that this was a negative thing. The students' first reaction was that it was negative. And so I went to the provost and the president again. I said, this guy he does not want to take down from the wall these paintings of stereotypes of African people eating watermelon and
I
stuff.
put them in the chat too, Doc, so people could see the art.
Okay, so then what happened was that this builds up this relationship between us of one of tension, simply because he had very little vision, no understanding of history or culture. I tried to say to people, where is this guy from? What is this guy's background? And I found out that he had done a lot of work in German banking systems. So he has no liberal arts credentials to speak of as far as I was concerned. And he did not understand certainly African-American history or culture. And he certainly didn't understand that I was not his Negro. So it's a whole different situation here, that we all humans and we all human beings, and no human is greater or better than another. You may have a position for this year or next year, but that position, it doesn't define you, and it doesn't define a relationship that you should have with human beings. And so that everything builds from there. We got 3 invitations from universities in Africa to have memoranda of understandings with them so that their students and faculty could come to Temple, and Temple's faculty could go to these African universities. And every time Deeg said no. And I finally asked them, why? You have memoranda of understanding with other universities, and our memoranda of understanding agreements that I had initiated had come from the vice president for international relations, Ha Long Dai, at the time, and he had gone over it with me, and he said everything is fine here. But the dean of the College of Liberal Arts says no, because Africa can add nothing to Temple. African universities add nothing to Temple. This is what his vice dean, Rebecca Alpert, said to me. Africa adds nothing to a relationship with Temple. Well, of course, I'm outraged at this, and it's stupid, number one, for somebody to say something like that. It makes no sense. I mean, most of the great universities in this country have a memoranda of understanding with African universities. So at any rate, I'm giving you the background of this situation. So I guess a final straw, well, one of the things that happened was that one year I wrote 4 books. And normally in a university, when you write books or articles, you can apply for merit. I applied for merit, and he sent me a letter saying, your merit is 0. So, so, I looked at that and I said, wait a minute, I mean, fortunately for me, I've been blessed. So and it was not a money issue with me. It was an issue of principle. So I said, no, I cannot allow this to stand. So I went to the president, I went to the provost, I said, this cannot stand. Well, the recommendation was that I talk to an ethics officer at Temple for the Board of Trustees. I talked to that ethics officer, and he assured me that he would look into it, looked into it, and said, yeah, this should not have happened. We're sorry for it to happen. He was a very nice man. And they finally said, okay, we will put this money into your account. So I'm just giving you this background to say that when when my term as chair ended, Deeg already had built up a strong animosity toward me. And when the bylaws of our department said that at the end of a term, the department should elect a group of faculty members, four, who would therefore, at that point, counsel with the dean and give him suggestions and so on. And these four people were elected duly. They were not appointed by me. They were elected in an open election by the faculty, and the faculty put them on that council to talk with the dean. That I look back now and say that was it was unfortunate in many ways, but the most important way it was unfortunate was that these people were basically innocent of anything. They just wanted to do the right thing by the department and the university. But Deeg took their advice as if their advice was against him. And he decided that instead of accepting any advice from the four members of the faculty, that what he would do would be to impose upon the department a chair of his own choosing. And they warned him, they told him all the kinds of things that this chair was guilty of and would have done, and you shouldn't do this. This would be bad for the students, bad for the university. It would allow the university all kinds of exposure, and why would you do this? But his animosity toward me, I believe, was so great that he wanted to have anybody who would be against me. So he chose this person, imposed this person, and then at the same time suspended the bylaws and said, so for 2.5 years, we have not had bylaws. And so it's a dictatorship. And it's almost like a RICO case, where is Finding Willis? I mean, here is a case where the dean, it seems to me, and the imposed chair of the department are collaborating to, in a sense, try to dismantle what has been built up for the last 38 years. This is a very unfortunate situation and turn of events. And then, of course, what they began to do was attack each one of the faculty members that they thought were against the imposed chair. For example, Dr. Nadav, who was one of our brilliant professors, world-known, internationally known, whose book, Afrocentric School and African Mothers, and her book, Being Human Being, co-authored. All those books they're all over the world. And Dr. Aaron Smith, they worked with me. We were having a conversation about the significance of Africology in the world and what it means to humanity. And in our discussion, I suggested to them that they should write an article, and they were already thinking on this line. Both of them had their own thoughts, but it was a conversation. And lo and behold, when the article was submitted to a distinguished journal, the abstract of the article that they had written was replaced in production by an abstract from another article that was going to be published in the journal. It was a technical problem. And so the article, once it was shown in an electronic way, because it was electronically sent out, and they saw the error in it, they withdrew it. The publishers withdrew it. Said, no, there's a problem here. The abstract does not fit the article. And so Amma Mazama, who was the imposed chair, accused them of collusion and plagiarism, and saying that the article was withdrawn because they had done this, that, and the other. And in effect, it was all conspiracy to prevent Nadav from having from directing graduate students and from having an article published, to prevent Aaron Smith from publishing an article in a prestigious journal, which would, of course, underscored why he should be a professor with tenure in the department and so on. So all of these, and then, of course, what Mazama and Deeg did, they conspired to create a narrative, and they brought in a firm, a legal firm, I think called Lee and Geis or something like that, to come in and say, look into this and see what you can find. Well, they came in and they found that I had written 7 emails asking a fundamental question about governance. Why is it that a department does not have bylaws? Since every department is supposed to have bylaws at Temple University, why don't we have bylaws? And why aren't we following the bylaws? And these bylaws would have allowed the faculty to participate in its own governance. That means that we could help choose who the teaching assistants would be. That means that we would have to choose what our course structure should be and who should be teaching these courses at which time and what time. And that the chair would just carry out what the faculty decided. But no, what Deeg wanted was to figure out how to destroy the people who had suggested to him that his decision was wrong. So he participated with Okur, and Okur's main defender, a woman named Okur, not Okur, but he participated with Bazama and her main supporter, which was Okur, and got those two to write negative letters, the most negative letters I've ever seen, ever written, the most dangerous letters I've ever seen about about the faculty members who were on that committee and about other people on the faculty. That is the basis for this. And so what you read in the newspaper, in the Philadelphia Tribune, simply tells you where we are now. Where we are now is that we are trying to see whether or not the provost of the university or the president of the university will react and respond to change this situation, which is very easily changed by the provost acting fairly and honestly and above board and without the collusion of people who have animus toward other people. That is what we're asking for, fairness. And in 53 years of being a university professor at the University of California, at State University of New York in Buffalo, at Florida State, and at Howard University, I have never seen what I have been seeing in the last few months at Temple University. So I regret to have to do this. I'm not an alarmist. I don't need anything from Temple, but I just need one thing for this faculty, is for them to be treated fairly and honestly and above board, and for us to have transparency in our department, which we do not have now. And it has created a tension among students, which should not exist. I got a call today, a student wondering, what should I do? Should I drop out? Should I leave this university? What is going on? Are they going to respond and react? But there is no, it's almost like they're paralyzed. The university, I've spoken with I've spoken with two senior provosts and vice provosts, and we have not heard anything. There, so many things are building up. You know, we have $100,000 that was given to us by a corporation to give an award in my name. It's called the Sage Asante Award. It's given to the top students in our department. And this year, they have prevented it from being given because they don't want an award given in my name, I guess. One other award my wife and I give to students is called the Founders Award. They even question why we give an award. So it's a bizarre situation. It is a unusual situation, and it can be resolved by, number one, being fair to the people who were denied a reappointment, to the people who were denied tenure, to the people who were denied promotion and tenure, and also by one other thing I think they can do, just, tell the department that we ought to be following bylaws and let us follow the bylaws. So I just want to stop here because I could talk for hours about this, but I know Dr. Ade would have something to say. And Dr. Ade, please go ahead and say something.
Okay, thank you, Doc, for giving that background. I just want people to understand how this is emblematic of a much larger issue and to contextualize it over time. Some of those touchstones have been when Cornel West went through something similar, and the author of the 1619 Project, Nicole Hannah-Jones, was forced out of North Carolina and ended up at Howard University. And most tragically, the situation with our sister at Lincoln University in Missouri, who took her own life after requesting medical leave and suffering microaggressions and harassment, at the hands of a white administrator and others. So I think, just like the George Floyd situation, this should be a touchstone to show that a lot of people are suffering silently. And it would have been easy for people just to go and, take some money or go get a new job. But I think it's really important for us collectively, not just as a collegiate community, but as a people, to take a stand in 2024 against any situation where people's full humanity is not being regarded and people are being assaulted with microaggressions to the point where some of us want to take our own lives, right? So understanding the magnitude of this moment and the fact that Temple has been so brazen in denying this recognition of agency and full humanity, not even allowing us to select our own leadership. They say the meeting will end in 10 minutes, Doc, just give you a heads up. I think that it's definitely a time for people to expose, what's been taking place, because a lot of this bullying and mistreatment, and anybody that's been a survivor of any type of abuse understands that secrecy is what predicates and empowers a lot of abuse and ill intent towards Black people. So with that being said, I want to yield some of the remaining time to the student that Dr. Asante referred to earlier, who just recently defended her dissertation, known as Feminista Jones online, but known to us as Dear Sister Michelle, so she could talk a little bit more from a student perspective as a graduate student who just defended, what it means to be in this type of environment. You can take the floor, Michelle.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate having the opportunity to talk about this. I have really been reflecting on kind of what this program has meant to me. And I knew that I came here because I have admired Dr. Asante for so long and wanting the opportunity to be able to be in this program that I'd heard so much about. And I did not expect to come here and have to deal with some of the things that I have dealt with. For those who are not familiar with me, I am openly a queer woman. I am very proud to be part of the LGBT community. I was raised by an activist mother. I was raised in a Black Power tradition. And so I did not think that coming here and just being myself, my open self, would warrant the kinds of treatments that I've had My first semester, I was forced to sit in a class in which Dr. Mazama equated same-sex marriage to bestiality and pedophilia. And when I challenged that and I kind of called it out, since then, I feel like there's been a target on my back. And I feel like she'd gotten very comfortable saying things like that in her classes without pushback, perhaps because people may have been intimidated by her or afraid. But as someone who had already has an established career, I came in like totally unafraid, and I was not going to sit there and be subjected to being told that my humanity is not valued and that I couldn't become an ancestor because I'm queer, or that my existence is counter to African culture. Like, I just didn't understand that. And I found out that speaking up on behalf of my community and our community as African people led to microaggressions and treatment in which she tried to cost me my TA fellowship. She decided to trump up some things and make it seem like I didn't know how to put together a syllabus when really she couldn't actually read it. She brought in Kete to have them review my stuff. They said, this is fine, this is perfect, what is the problem? So I started dealing with those kinds of things. Then I blew the whistle and participated in an investigation. And ever since then, I've been subjected to retribution and microaggressions. It's gotten to the point where I just don't even want to talk to her because I'm not comfortable interacting and engaging with her, right? So right now, my award is being held hostage. And I understand, Dr. Asante, you mentioned that it could be because it's because of you. But I also want to let people be aware that I am openly queer. And these attacks on me, I believe, are tied into my identity, one that she believes is gross, disgusting, anti-African. And the fact that I'm committed to this, it seems like she has a problem with it. And so now my award is being withheld. And if I do not receive this money by the end of April, I will be suing the university because I was told I'm getting this award, I should be getting it, and she's standing in the way of it. These are the kinds of things I did not expect to deal with when I came here, but I'm also a world-renowned activist, and I don't think she realizes the lengths I will go to protect the students and the faculty here. I will speak up, I will do what I need to do, and Temple is going to regret ignoring the complaints that I have filed, and they've basically dismissed all the evidence that I've brought to them showing her harmful rhetoric. They've dismissed all of that, and they're going to regret that. And it's a shame that I have to go this way because part of why I didn't say anything to begin with, because I thought that we could deal with this as a community. I did not realize that this couldn't be settled.
Yes,
so
please,
I am just at the point where I'm happy that I was able to defend. I am happy that I'm going to graduate. I continue to work with the students and try to hold them in support. Students have said to me that they do not want to major in Africology. They don't want to be a part of this department. We are losing majors, we are losing minors, and it is, in my opinion, due to this toxic environment that is going on. If we don't change this, we're going to have a lot of issues. So I actually have to step out because I am traveling right now, and I do appreciate the opportunity to be able to speak. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Taylor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Taylor. That was very great. Fantastic.
And I included the screenshot that Dr. Taylor referenced. It's in the chat as well, so you can see the image that talks about questioning sexuality and zoophilia and pedophilia in the same breath as homosexuality and bestiality. It was a slide that she suggested her students watch a lecture of, which had apparently traumatized students. There were students in tears that year coming to different classes and having conflicts based on some of these comments. Another one was, there were some students who were Muslim who were very offended by the Islamophobia. One of the statements was the worst or the most offensive thing a Black person could say to her was "Assalamu alaikum." And, people were like leaving the program and having a lot of stress based on this. And these are the reasons why we warned the administration not to make this person the representative of an inclusive department. But with 3 minutes and a half left, I just want to yield the floor to Dr. Asante to close us out and maybe talk
Dr. Dove, you have your hand up?
I only have to say that many students have been very badly affected, and as I'm an elder there, an elder person considered to be sort of mother, grandmother, great-grandmother in some cases, students have felt able to come to me and tell me some of the harm that has been inflicted upon them and the fear that they have for and the possible retribution that might happen if they complain. So they're scared. I know this is truth. I'll just end there.
Thank you very much, Dr. Dove.
And
That
I've
is,
said before, just briefly, they have filed police reports against, myself for YouTube lectures. There's issues of misappropriation of funds, potential embezzlement. I've personally been assaulted by a student. Dr. Asante had his classroom interrupted by a student yelling and screaming with disorderly conduct. They've taken our classes from us, the class I created on Tupac Shakur and Dr. Taylor's class that she created for the Black LGBTQIA experience. There's a list of retaliation that the university confirmed. The university confirmed retaliation and still left Dr. Amamazama in place and in power after they confirmed retaliation for her to continue this behavior for another year. But with that,
well, I thank you so much. I just want the community to know and the world to know that we're fighting it. So it's not like we're going to let them roll over this situation. What we do expect is for the university to act and to act in a positive way to resolve this issue. And they could do it by the things that we have suggested that they do. For those of you who are interested in this Zoom, it will be uploaded on the Molefi Asante Institute lectures on YouTube. We hope to do that by tomorrow morning. So you will be able to see it and you'll be able to share it with other people as well. I want to thank Dr. Aaron Smith and Dr. Nadav particularly and Dr. Michelle Taylor for appearing on this, and thank all of you who have come out. We will probably have to continue this conversation, and we are thinking that at the MKA Institute, we may be having a community informational meeting about the situation because the community is very interested and deeply emotional about this issue. How do you talk about all the things that we have done and all the achievements that have been made by the Department of Africology and African American Studies, and how do you turn it over to somebody who is actually trying to destroy the program?